Hello there, my name is Valerie White-Williams and I would like to welcome you to my channel, Cosmic Splendor, and this is where I get to talk about astrology, spirituality, and how to feel safe in our changing world. So what I'm talking about today is fear. I've talked about emotions before, but I'm talking about fear today because there's so much fear everywhere, and what we like to call fear is false evidence appearing real. Now, when I talked about emotions before, I'm just going to review it. What I learned when I was at the clairvoyant training at the Washington Psychic Institute in Seattle, we learned what our emotions are for. Our emotions are our body's information system. So when we feel an emotion, it's something that happens in the moment. It's not something we think about and create an emotion. That's what I call a phantom emotion. It's kind of like the weather. You're going to look outside and you go, oh, it's windy. I better wear a sweater. Oh, it's rainy. I better have an umbrella. So that's what our emotions are supposed to do. It's the emotional weather. It's like, oh, I might fall off a cliff. I better pull back. Okay, that's real fear. That's fear. Or I went in college, I worked at Glacier National Park, and we were trained to not hike by ourselves and to always make noise because bears attack people. We had to train with the park service before we could step foot to work in the hotels at Glacier National Park because the bear danger was so huge. And bears don't really want to attack people because unless you run into them, because bears are shy, they stay away. But there are things that you don't want to do when you're in the woods like that and you want to make a lot of noise, so you kind of keep the bears away. But it's scary. It kind of scared us all because we didn't want to see bears. And I did have somebody who did see a bear. But that is fear. So if you see a bear and they go after you, that's what fear does. It's like, okay, I have to do something, you know. And a lot of people would run. We're told just kind of be still and not run. And they might just turn away. So that's what happened. But that fear that comes up when you're in a dangerous situation, you have this fight or flight. And that fear makes you make a quick decision. So that's what fear is. It's in the moment. And all the emotions are that way. Like if something makes you angry, like you almost get in a car accident and you almost like have to slam on the brakes, you're gonna feel angry. So that's, again, in the moment, the emotions are telling you what is real. And when I actually do reaction videos on my other channel, Vocal Splitter Studios, sometimes I cry because something touches me. And I feel that emotion, and then it makes me sad. So that is in the moment. It's something that's in the moment. So what's going on now, that's not what's going on now, is that we have a media and business uses fear to manipulate people and get a response. Because fear, when we have fear that is programmed from the media, by reading things, by people getting nervous. So it's so prevalent in our culture right now, we can't even really disengage because the fear is so intense. So when fear is being projected constantly, media, fear, our body doesn't know how to handle it because it's not in the moment. Our bodies can handle fear in the moment. Like you almost are hiking and you can almost fall off a cliff. And you're like, whoa, I better get off. Like I've done some hikes on this big, huge plateau. And if you make a wrong step, it's the end for you, okay? That's fear. That's going to make you have a good decision. But when you're getting projected fear constantly, your body, because usually what emotions do is to help you make the decision in the moment. That's the point. It's the emotional weather. It's like putting on that umbrella. So you're supposed to use fear to make a choice. Like, okay, I better move back from the cliff. Or I better slow down so I don't lose control of the car and the ice, okay? That's what fear is. That's it. It's not projection. So when the projection happens, what happens is our body can't handle it. And it creates stress. And then it creates anxiety. So this is what we have. We have so many people that have anxiety issues right now because they're just fear is projecting. Now, again, anything that's projecting fear from article or they're talking about, oh, be scared about this, be scared about that, your body can't handle it. It's toxic. It's completely toxic. So whether it's the media, whether it's people talking about things that are scary and getting you all afraid. So this is one thing, is it's a control drama. So once you get people to accept this false evidence appearing real, then they've gotcha. They gotcha, because people don't want to have fear, and they're looking for someone who's going to keep them from their fear, but the fear keeps ramping up, which is where we're at now. Just ramped up fear over everything, all kinds of things. Now, the other thing, when we have all this fear in our space that's not really ours, it's projected, false fear, false evidence appearing real, then you get that anxiety and you can't clear it. And when it's ever present, fear everywhere, this is why people are having real problems right now. But the key thing is this fear in my present moment? Is this something that's affecting me right now? And if the answer is yes, that means you need to make a decision. Step away from the cliff. If it's no, then you got to say, okay, this doesn't apply to me. I know that sounds unrealistic, and I know that sounds like it could be, irresponsible, but you don't need fear. Fear is not a driving force in your life. You're going to have anxiety. Now, you can be responsible and you can take precautions. I'm not saying don't do that, but you don't need fear to drive you to that, because fear is meant to be in the moment. You can take precautions. There's nothing wrong with that. But allowing that fear to get you like anxiety, panic, and living with that and accepting that, you need to say no. You need to say no to the media, the friends, the people that are going to get you into that anxious state and feel fear. Now, the thing is, when people are in this chronic fear, they have health issues, they get depressed, they also are easily be controlled because they want to shake off that fear feeling and they really don't know how, especially when it's like broadcasting 24/7 on the media. So that's where you need to step away. Step away. And if you meditate, you can take some clarity, because truly we are spiritual beings in our body. That's what it is. And we are not bodies with spirits. We are spiritual beings that came here to experience physicality, especially at this time. And one of our lessons is to learn to be clear about what is true and what isn't. And the fake fears that's programming us, blah, 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 constantly is false evidence false evidence appearing real. Because if it's not right in the moment, it's not real for you. But our bodies don't understand that. And our bodies do understand it, but our mind doesn't. So we need to be really clear when we see that false evidence appearing real, that does not apply to you. And you can make choices, but not out of fear and paranoia and anxiety. So you can just feel the energy just draining out. So I hope this is helpful for you. And like I said, having a spiritual practice, having a centering practice, taking deep breaths is one of the best things to realize, okay, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in what's good for you, breathing out what doesn't apply. So you can let go of some of that false programming that is actually being programmed you to get a response. So that's the worst kind of fear, is you're going to give people some fear porn, say, oh my God, I got to do this, and then sometimes they'll direct them to a solution that they're profiting off of. And sometimes it's not a direct money, but it's a control. It's a control thing. We are sovereign in our space. We have so much more power than we're taught to believe. It's almost like we have a hidden castle in the lock that's inside of us, but we don't have the key. So the way to get in is to use the breath. That's one of the easiest ways to really take big breaths. I'm a huge fan of Wim Hof. He has a really easy breathing technique that anyone can do. It's easy. And it will clear out some of the excess. Because here's the deal. When people are in fear and they're freaking out, they're very easily controlled. And they know that. They know that. So you need to like put on your spidey senses and kind of go, is this really real? Is this happening to me right now where I live? No. And if it's a no, you're going to go, okay, I don't need to bring that into my aura. I don't need to bring that into my space. And I'm going to just be in the moment and experience what comes in the moment and not borrow these things that are floating around. Because again, if it's not in the moment, then it's not real fear. It's a projection and a control drama. All right, so I hope this has helped you. I'd love to talk more about this. One of my favorite subjects, by the way. And I would love to hear how you can identify a true fear versus a false fear and how you can kind of deprogram yourself or just release all that fake, false evidence appearing real so you can be present in the moment. Because you know what? Our present is a present. And that's what we're here to do, is be in the present moment. All right, thanks so much for the likes, shares, and subscribes. I so appreciate it. And I want to let you know about my group, Creative Soul Alignment, which is filled with all these spiritual people that are also into the creative arts. Because here's the deal. When we are creating, we are expressing our divine nature. And we are creators just like the creator. And the other thing is then we all visualize a world, without all this fake fear, that is a world that works for all of us. We have the power to change that world. We have the power to create a new world where we don't have vicious controllers that are trying to take over. It's right here in our visualization. All right, take care, you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.